Usually, in the field that I'm in, you usually just see the extremes. Like, there's the extreme left that said, oh, video games are the art form, they're the next generation of storytelling. We must preserve them. And then there's the other side that'll tell you, no, video games are the sign of the devil, we got to repel them! You know, I see both sides of the story with that. Overall, are games the bad for humanity? Nah. Back in the early periods, like the Renaissance days, essentially they had games. Actually, during the medieval period, they did actually have their own version of baseball, if I could recall. Hello there, my name is Jordan Leroy Hanson. I am currently a sophomore in the University of KU, and I have now the interest of doing game design as a career, and pursuing that as we speak. There's a period where I didn't really consider studying games such and such, where I just played them casually, which is kind of like a collage of games I play. Like, I can remember the early PlayStation and playing games such as like Crash Bandicoot and
Legend of Zelda was one of them, but kind of like Link to the
an
Past.
offset Kirby game. Played as a crazy marsupial. Who wouldn't want to do that? Like later on in the period. Sid Meier, like Civilization series. No More Heroes for the Wii. They're a great social tool. Like, I mean, heck, people love to play games with friends. Really, with games these days, with multiplayer and social aspects, on one hand, it does introduce you to an environment and seeing multiple different people, their perspectives, their ideas. Join into a recent Xbox Live game, and you'll have either people who are either keeping their mouth shut, or people who you wish they kept their mouth shut, if you get what I'm saying.
You are not. What was your ACT score? Oh, that explains it all. You little pussy. Okay, go. Come up to Canada. I'll kick your ass, kid.
I think it was 1, maybe even 2. I can't recall the age exactly. But essentially, the doctors diagnosed me with autism. The person, whoever is afflicted with it, essentially is more central mind would probably be the best term to say, or in mind. Mostly, it's hard for them to live life like a normal human would be. Like, for example, one issue I faced when I was young was essentially communication issues. My communication wasn't like speaking plain English as of now. It was essentially just speaking, and I am not kidding, I wish I was. One way of communication was essentially picture boards, sort of. If I needed something, I could just point at a specific picture and just pretty much be able to communicate with my parents, and it also worked the other way. The first time that I was able to speak, I'm pretty sure it was like around the age 6 or 5, and it was, you know, the old traditional mama, dada first word scenario. And then I started kind of speaking like a 6-year-old child would probably speak. Essentially, the game that, of course, that people were playing during that time was kind of like Mario. I didn't play them, but I always liked watching my sister play them. And she played them good, so I was alright, but if somebody played them bad, then I would let them know, I'll be quite frank. My schooling process was kind of interesting. It was a bit of a bumpy start, which mostly I went to disability services and just got help with stuff like essentially, oh, you need time for homework, yeah, okay, we'll give you more time, or, you know, direct tutoring to help me out with the lessons and such. The teachers started to recognize that I've been actually getting good grades and I haven't been using the services as much. So they decided to just drop me off the program. Then I kind of lived high school as a normal high school student, pretty much. The first time I can actually remember playing a game, and in a sense that made me kind of interested into the design aspect of it, was essentially Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. One of my favorite kind of classics now, it's kind of like BioShock. And one of the main reasons why I like that game, other than the environment, the settings and such, is also its clever storytelling. I could say that BioShock was one of my favorite games. To me, one of my modern classics.